What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Luke Lewis. What's going on, brother?
No, not much, brother. Just enjoying retired life. It's 3-4 weeks in. It's a bit surreal, to be honest. But,
Mate, you're already looking fresher. You're already looking less stressed.
Lost a bit of weight, which is good.
Yep.
So, so far, so good, mate. But it'll be tough when the season starts next year.
What's it like mentally knowing that you don't have... I know you say you love your preseason, but there is also a lot of anxiety that comes to preseason. What's it like in your head going, actually, I don't actually have that this year?
Yeah, it's funny. I've been up, getting up at 5 every morning and training. Just enjoy that sort of things. But knowing that I don't have to go to training and do all the testing and worry about the skin folds and the weigh-in and all that sort of stuff, it's actually quite relieving, to be honest. It's now it's about training on my because I want to stay fit and just sort of enjoying life. I did enjoy rugby league and pre-seasons, don't get me wrong, and I love the camaraderie and all that sort of stuff. But just to do something different, change my life up and see what's, I suppose, the world's going to bring in the next step. That's the most exciting part. But look, not having to stress about turning up and being in shape. If I want to have the day off, I can have the day off. And so those little things are good. But I've been told what to do for so long. Last 18 years I've been told to be here, do this, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock physio, into stretching. So, to have that little bit of freedom is pretty cool as well.
Mate, and also like that, I don't know about you, but I like that. It's like this constant string of, for me anyway, like pressure. Like you've got these things that you need to meet and you know that okay, next year I've got a rocker, I've got to play well. Or for me personally, were you by the end of your career, were you pretty chill with that?
Yeah, I was pretty, sort of come to terms with it a long time ago. That probably when I first come to Cronulla, my very first year at Cronulla pre-season, I knew I had to turn up, make sure, I suppose, show the boys that how to turn up, how I prepare and what I'm willing to sort of do for the team and the club. And that was probably my hardest year. But, the years from Penrith to that time I went over to Cronulla, I was pretty comfortable where I needed to be and how to prepare and where I was when I turned up, started pre-season. Cronulla was different because you had to sort of, show everyone again that what you have to do. And, but then after the first year, I was sort of pretty relaxed, pretty chilled, and built up a really good rapport with the training staff and the coaching staff, and they understood exactly what I was going to do away from the club and how I was going to turn up. So they gave me a lot of leeway as well.
And take us back to a young Luke Lewis. Did you grow up in, so you're obviously from New South Wales? Yeah,
New South Wales boy. I was actually born and bred. I was in Blacktown, grew up around the Blacktown area, just one suburb out in Doonside, and mate, loved it. All my mates that I grew up with out there, I'm still in contact with today, and always supported Penrith as a young kid. And then had the opportunity to, I suppose, play in development squads there, and played a few years in, I suppose, 11, 12s, 13s. Had the opportunity to play Harold Matthews, which was outstanding, and then sort of just continued from there. Got the opportunity to play SG ball and make my way from there. The same year I played SG ball, I made my first grade debut, which was pretty cool. And, look, it's a bit of a blur now, but absolutely outstanding memories that I've had, coming through the grades and the opportunities I've had out there is pretty amazing.
And so was it always footy for you, like from a 4 years old bomb straight into footy?
Yeah, I think it was, to be honest. I was at school, teachers always used to say, you need to concentrate at school. I said, no, I'm going to play football. Yeah, but what happens if football doesn't work? No, it's going to work. Only 1% of players make it. Well, I'm going to make it. It was always sort of that
naive confidence.
A little bit arrogant, actually. They must have thought, this little prick. But, look, it ended up working out. Obviously, I'm very lucky. So that's all I ever wanted to do. There was nothing that was ever going to sort of change that. But I suppose when I look back to it, you think not too many kids will, I suppose, get the opportunities that I was lucky enough to have. So I've got to sort of thank for a lot of people that were around me and all the people that were out there that made things possible as well.
And were you always how there's some people that excel at an early age and they you can see that they're on that path, or were you a kid that kind of fit in and played footy and went with emotions kind of thing?
Yeah, to be honest, all my club football, I actually started off at Adelaide Park as a young kid. I started playing footy there when I was 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
Stayed there till about, I think, under 11s or 12s, and then my coach at the time said, if you ever want to play representative football, you're going to have to go to another club, which is more of a first division club.
Okay.
So we went over to Blacktown City and got to play with Denny Galea, who also played first grade in the same as young kids. And yeah, I never really made anything, to be honest. I was never made schoolboy football. But in saying that, I never really sort of concentrated too much on school footy. I was always about just playing weekend football with my mates.
Yeah.
Never really made too much representative football. I got the opportunity to, like I said, in development squads to try out. I never made the first time it was actually
really
put up. And
when was the first New South Wales side you made?
My very first Origin, New South Wales I played was State of Origin 2004.
No
first game
way.
I'd ever been to in Origin was my first game I actually played in. So
you hadn't made your state side at all growing up?
Never at all.
So the first time you played for your state was in State of Origin?
State of Origin, yeah.
Far out.
And even like me country, never played for me country. Junior Kangaroos I played when I was 19, purely
19.
because I think we had played one or two first grade games, and a lot of players who played in that side had already played one or two games of first grade, and they got picked that way. But it was just.
So you definitely
surreal.
weren't a superstar coming through the grades?
Never at all. I'll never forget, actually, I remember we were going into a development squad one day, and Brad Izzard was our coach.
Yep.
And he said to me, he said to all of us, doesn't matter if you're the most talented player, I promise you now, hard work will beat talent. And he goes, if you're willing to work hard, and you're willing to work harder than the bloke who's trying to play for your position, the one who usually works harder will get the opportunity to play the representative football or play first grade. So sort of took that on board. And then I went and asked him, actually, when we were at training, I said, what did you mean by that? And he goes, the best analogy I can give you is that if you think your opponent that you're coming up against, or the player who's trying to take your position, think he's not training that day, go and train. So he goes, for example, if you think the centre that you're coming up against, or the winger you're coming up against this weekend in the trial game, isn't training on Christmas Day, you got to go train Christmas Day. So pretty much from that day, I haven't stopped training Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
from that day. So how old were you at this point?
I was probably 13. Yeah.
And it just stuck with you?
That was it, stuck with me. And then I remember saying, okay, I got to start training. So I trained every day from that day. And joined a gym at the age of 14, which is probably over 6 months later down the track after I'd been told. And I turned up to that gym every day after school, ran every day. I'd either run to the gym or run home from the gym. And I'd run every Saturday, Sunday if I wasn't playing.
So
I basically just sort of got into a rhythm that,
I'm
not the most talented and I don't get picked very often, but I'm just going to work super hard and see where it takes me. And that's sort of how I suppose I ended up where I was today.
Because and also for people listening, we have to remember back then there was no culture around going to the gym, being fit, being healthy. Now there's a culture around it. It's a mainstream thing. Back then, if you went to the gym, even when I was growing up, you were a gym junkie. Whereas nowadays it's pretty normal for people to go to the gym. So you were in your head, you were just like, I'm just going to do anything I can.
Yeah, well, I actually remember I said to him, well, what do I need to work on? He said, we need to put some weight on. So I think I was 65 kilos at the time, just skinny. You need to put some weight on, but you just need to train hard. I went, okay, no drama. So I just started running and then started putting weight on and went to the gym. Started buying protein from the gym. Had no idea what I was doing. Got given a program that I'd follow from Monday to Friday. Do legs on Monday, back on Tuesday, whatever it was. And then we'd do boxercise on Tuesdays and Thursday nights.
Okay.
And that was sort of, just boxing classes with you and a partner. Probably 10 in the group. Have a bit of a run in that. And then from there, throw your backpack on and jog home.
Far out.
It sort of just kept building up from there. And I started to feel a bit funny, actually, because there was some times I couldn't get to the gym. I actually started to feel guilty not going.
Oh, really?
I think it sort of just built up a bit of a trait that, after you get into a bit of a rhythm, you just got to stay in it. It was actually easier to stay in it than it was to stop and then have a break and then get back into it.
Mate, I've got a theory, and you're the perfect person to ask, and you'll probably laugh at me, but I swear to God, I think this is true. I honestly reckon people that have been training from a young age, it's a form of addiction due to the endorphins that constantly release each day. So let's say you were going to the gym 5 days a week. You have these endorphins that release every day. I feel like your body would get addicted. And that's why when you don't go to the gym, you feel guilty and you feel so run down because your body's not getting the chemicals that it's been so used to for so long. And so I feel like that's where a lot of former professional athletes struggle after footy because they're not training as hard and not getting that. It's, let's say it's the equivalent to taking some kind of drug that gives the same chemicals. They're not getting that that hit
that
each
fix.
day.
Yeah, I totally agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I went away to Vegas just recently
Yep.
for the Conor McGregor fight.
Yep.
And I was over there, I think 7 or 8 days, and I didn't get to the gym.
Yep.
And every day I woke up, I felt depressed, seriously.
Yep.
And I was thinking all I was doing was eating burgers,
Yep.
hot chips,
mate.
drinking beer, drinking
Yep.
friggin' soft drinks.
Mm.
And all I could think of was getting up and going to the gym.
Yep.
But I sort of felt a bit awkward because I had a couple of mates around. I was thinking, well, we're on holidays, I'm going to the gym. So I'd get up nice and early, mate, and just go for a walk up and down the Strand and just make sure I was sort of getting the body moving. But the day I got back, we flew in Thursday, I trained Friday. So
really?
Yeah,
Yep.
I just can't do it.
Yeah, mate.
And I'm with you 100%. It's an addiction.
Yep.
If I don't do it, I feel super guilty.
Yep.
And mate, it's just, I think it's one of those things I think I'll have for the rest of my life. I just have to need to go and do something every morning.
Yeah, it's funny because my dad, it's what's funny is how much your fathers give you this ridiculously good advice, and you just like think it's nothing. But he always used to say to me, "Make sure you go to the gym," because like he wakes up. This is what my dad's. You would love this. He wakes up. He used to. I think he still does it. Wakes up every morning at 4. Has a cold shower. It has to be cold, out of like discipline. And then he goes down to the garage and there's these terrible weights. Like it's like old rusty shit. And he just like does weights every morning by himself. Then he used to drive an hour and a half to work and then an hour back. But yeah, he used to always say to me, no matter what you do, go to the gym or do a workout every single morning. And I didn't take it on board. It hasn't been until after footy is finished that like if I don't go to the gym for a week, I'm feeling like so depressed, like fucking terrible. So I'm totally with you, man. Totally with you when it comes to that.
And it's funny you say your dad said like get up at 4, or he gets up at 4, and does it. It's so true, mate. I've been trying to train myself now. I get up at 4:30 every morning.
Yep.
I have a shower. Can't be cold because I love my hot showers. But mate, 4:30. I'm out walking by 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Get back by 6. Go to the gym about 6:30, and mate, that's sort of been since the day I retired.
Yep.
I had three or 4 days off just to recover the body, but from then I haven't stopped, and it's just you can get so much done before the actual day starts.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've achieved everything.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I'm going to take your dad's advice, mate, and just try and stick to it as well.
Girl, it's so hard. He's a maniac. Like he's got the record for the least days off at Brisbane Catholic Education. It's like 41 years, 1 day off.
Wow.
He's a maniac. I've never heard him complain once. Anyway,
Yes, that's the best.
Yeah, just that old school, that old school mentality, just different. Like I'm fucking pussy compared to him. And so, okay, so that stuck with you, and you just kind of trained your ass off, really. Like, and it wasn't, and even then, you didn't really get those immediate rewards in the sense like you're 13, you're training your ass off. Was there any point where you started thinking like, I'm training my ass off here, and I'm still not making those rep sides? Or just like, nah, I'm going.
No, never. I never realised. Like, I knew I was like at the age I was. There was plenty of time and the opportunities that I wanted. My first goal was always wanted to try and make the SG ball team, or just to be able to trial for the SG ball team.
Yeah.
Then I got the opportunity to play for Harold Matthews and trial with Penrith Harold Matthews, but then got in the team and just sort of took all the experiences on and the opportunities we had to deal with all the first graders and how they held themselves, and got to do a couple of training sessions. The way that Penrith were structured out there at the time is that they have 1 or 2 training sessions a month, where all the junior teams would come through and train with the first grade squad, so they got the understanding on how they train and how they apply themselves and what they do, and build up a bit of a relationship.
Yep.
And that was awesome. But then after I sort of got that little bit of a, I suppose that drug we were talking about training with first graders, like, I've got to go to the next level.
Yep.
So you'd always push yourself and keep worrying about being fit and strong and putting a bit of weight on. That was my main focus. I didn't worry too much about, I suppose, the game of footy at the time. Obviously, I was working on my skill, my passing game. I had to work on left to right passes because I was always right-handed.
And what position were you playing at this stage?
So when I was a young kid, I used to play everywhere. So
really?
Sort
the
of
same
come
thing.
in handy later down the track, but sort of get thrown in at lock or play 5'8" half. Sometimes the centre would be outside filling at centre. I never actually played wing my whole junior career. My very first time I ever played wing was my first grade debut.
No way.
Yeah, it was.
It's a specialist position. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I know we're just fucking wingers, but
mate. And you know what? I was crapping myself. I remember being at training and blokes were putting, Gowie putting up bombs. I'm thinking, well, I've never been in this position before. Yeah. And then you're going to have blokes coming down to, smash you while you're catching the ball, and then you had to learn how to catch, jumping and catching the ball, and just different way you position your body on the field to make sure that you could, get to the ground before they took you out or
Yep.
took you back in goal. So
Yep.
I had a whole lot of learning to do, but it was so fun.
And so at what point, so you became part of the Penrith system, and then you did some training with first grade, but at what point were they like, when you made that SG ball side, did you know that you were close-ish? Because you played first grade, you said, when you're playing SG ball?
Yeah, so SG ball, I think it was 2001. It was probably my best year of footy. I sort of found my feet, built up a lot of really good relationships over the years, and we'd all sort of stuck together pretty well. And our SG ball side, we were sort of together for a fair while.
Yeah.
Then, I just sort of felt comfortable. Felt like I was a part of a group that I'd been a part of for a while. A lot of the guys that I sort of was playing against every weekend, going to school with a few of the boys. It was just a real good mateship and just felt tight. So you felt a sense of belonging.
Yep.
And then everything sort of fell into place. We had a really good half 5'8". I remember working on my running good lines. So I worked all year on my lines, and then they were sort of starting to come off in SG ball.
Yep.
And just everything sort of fell into place. Your football was real enjoyable. We were scoring tries, we were winning games, and we made the grand final. We lost to Newcastle, but it was just a really good season. And then a few things happened. I remember the Premier League winger, I can't remember who it was at the time, he got injured. No, Sano got injured.
Yep.
Ended up getting caught up the following weekend to play Premier League in the centres. We had a good win that game. I scored a try, and a little bit of confidence started to build. Saying, hang on, I'm starting to play against men. And then, sort of started training with Premier League. A few first graders were coming back. So I was sort of playing with first graders, played another week of Premier League. And then next thing you know, I was sort of got a phone call that I was going to be playing first grade because one of the boys got injured. So got the phone call and said, mate, we're taking you down to Melbourne to play first grade.
Yep.
I went, holy crap, what's going on here? It's only been like, 5-6 weeks out of SG ball.
Yep.
And but in saying that, the opportunities come purely because we had a few injuries. So I was just very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. And my football at the time was probably playing probably my best football that I'd played my whole career.
Yep.
So, just sort of, that's when I started to realise that the hard work that I'd done had started to pay off.
Yep.
Because we're getting the opportunities were starting to open up. But I was playing the football at the time, I suppose, to get the opportunity and just be very lucky.
Yeah, and you were ready for the opportunity when it come. Like you were in a good shape, good condition, playing good footy rather than like playing okay footy, maybe not ready.
Yeah, not understand too. Like I'm SG boy. I felt like all the weights that I started to do was just starting to come on. I was starting to get a little bit. I was getting stronger.
Yep.
My speed was getting quicker.
Yep.
I felt stronger in defence. So all those little things I started when I was 13 and a half years old, I'd started doing light weights and started to build myself up. That all sort of come into effect probably 3.5 years down the track.
Wow.
And then when you go into weights with the boys, you knew all the exercises, your technique was right.
Yeah, so true.
All those little things sort of started to fall into place, and you didn't feel uncomfortable because I've been doing it now for 3.5 years.
Yep.
So
true. So true.
That's sort of, I look back now and I think all those little steps, it all added up.
And so you get the phone call. You would have been, 17, 18?
Yeah, it was actually a couple of days after my 18th birthday.
So you're 18 years old. You get the phone call. What's the phone call like to your father or your family or whatever? What was that like for you?
I was actually sitting down with a couple of mates. I was still out at. I was actually on my push bike out at Dooney at the time. I was just hanging out with a mate. We're having some. I'll never forget it. Sitting there having a big bowl of chips with gravy.
Oh,
and I get a phone call of Royce Simmons. I go, Royce. He goes, yeah, mate, I just want to let you know that we're going to take you to Melbourne this week, make your first grade debut. I went, oh, wow. And then mate, I jumped on my bike. I rode straight home. I had to go back, tried to go up the train that afternoon. Ran inside to tell my mum. My mum had already knew about it.
Yep.
He'd obviously called my mum to make sure it was all right with her first. And
yep.
That was it. Never looked back. Mate, my mum drove me to training. I didn't have my licence at the time. And
making your first grade debut and your mum's driving you to training.
Yeah, drove me to training and sit in the car park while I trained. Took me home and
that's crazy.
Yeah, next thing you know, I was in Melbourne and the family was sitting up in the grandstand and we were playing, and I got my first $1,000 match payment, which I was happy about. So
matches at the start of your career are just good. Heaven sent. Heaven sent.
But then on the flip side of that, I was in a room with Matty Reek at the time.
Yep.
And they all went out for a drink. I went out for a few beers, and Matty Reek was blind. Come home and knocked the phone off the hook. We missed the bus. We had to catch a taxi to the airport.
Is this
got
your first game
the very
debut?
First game. Got the airport. I'm looking around. The boys are looking at me, going, "I was thinking, I'm never going to play first grade again."
Yeah.
Match payment got taken off me. $1,000
No,
fine.
you got fined $1,000 for missing a thing.
I was thinking, you know what, I'm never going to play again. And then Royce named me in the following week to play in Steve Carter's testimonial at home, which was pretty cool. So
you're out on the piss. He gets home. He knocks the phone off.
we missed the bus.
You miss the bus.
Taxi to the airport.
Mate, what's a taxi to the airport? Are you just wigging out?
Wigging out. I had no idea what was going on.
Yep.
It's freaking out. I've seen all the boys are sort of just got in the airport, dropped all their bags off, so we weren't that far behind them.
Yep.
But they just left. Didn't worry about us. They just left the bus. Went. But,
Anyway.
Anyway.
And you would have been like, the thing is, it's not like you're a rat bag. Like, you know, some players, they're not a rat bag, but you can expect it all. Like, you know, oh fuck, like they went out, had a drink, like that's what the kind of person
just
they are.
slipped
Whatever.
in. Yeah.
Whereas like a guy like yourself, I'm sure you're very disciplined at the time as well. You're like the last person they would expect to do it, and then you're late on your first.
And the funny thing, I didn't have a whole heap. I only had 3 beers purely just because I was sitting with guys that I looked up to all my life. I was thinking, I can't knock back a beer here.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, but
you would have been feeling sick.
I was freaking out, to be honest. And then I was sitting there going, how am I going to pay for this taxi ride? I don't even think I had hardly any money.
Oh, really?
I
My
$50
God.
off my mum. So
Got the mum. Hey, mum, I just need your credit card number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Far out. Okay, so then did you essentially stay in first grade like the rest of that year?
Yeah, so there was only 3 games to go. Maybe in debut down in Melbourne.
Yep.
Played in Steve Carter's testimonial game, and then played against Newcastle in Newcastle.
Yep.
I never forget it, mate. I was lined up in the back line as Adam McDougall and
Yep.
Matthew Gidley and all these kind of guys. And
It's 2001.
Just unbelievable, mate. But then after that, the boys' first grade were out. We didn't make the semis that year.
Yep.
Went back to Premier League and played a few Premier League semi-finals, and we missed out on the grand final, but it was a great experience.
And so the next year rolls around, and I'm assuming you're a part of the first grade squad now. Are you not guaranteed a spot, but are they talking to you like that?
Yeah, no, it was funny because 2002 rolled around, and Royce Simmons ended up getting all these a couple of young guys to come through. Myself, Luke Rooney.
Yep.
Build up
Rooney.
a few
Here's a throwback.
young kids come through the development squads, and then Johnny Leng come over from Cronulla.
Yep.
I don't know if he had any idea who I was.
Yep.
I was freaking out. I didn't know what the preseason was going to be like. It was going to be my first proper preseason.
Yep.
And I just really didn't know where I stood, to be honest. I didn't know if I was ever going to get a trial game. And then had the opportunity to play Newcastle in a trial game down at Cessnock. And everything sort of fell into place that year. I was feeling fit. I was pretty, weights were through the roof. I scored my first hat-trick in first grade, but only in a trial game.
Yep, okay.
And then I got named in the first game of the year for Penrith, and then never really looked back from there. Johnny Lang sort of pulled me and Luke Rooney into the office and said, "Boys, we'll let you know if I'm not talking to you, you're doing your job." Mate, That was basically it. We never really sort of had to sit down and have a good chat to him about too much, to be honest.
Yep.
So he was.
This is when Rooney and you were like the wingers, like you were going really well together.
We fed off each other.
Yep.
But, we had obviously a lot of great leaders in at the club at the time, and they sort of took us under their wing and sort of showed us what we had to do to be first graders on a consistent basis, and we just bought into it, mate. And how good was it? We didn't have to turn up and go to work. We didn't have to turn up and go to school. We basically just turning up and catching footies and training and getting fit. So, mate, we sort of, both of us straight out of school, pretty much straight into first grade.
And so that's 2002 then?
Yep, 2002.
You scored your first NRL try round 3.
Against the Sharks.
Finished the season, 17 tries, 23 matches, including 2 hat-tricks. So that season for you would have been just buzzing, young.
Yeah, mate. Still can't believe it. And I was a young kid, never really thought the opportunity would come or when it would come. And I always believed that that's what I wanted to do. And then I look back, and then my very first full season, I'm actually scoring tries in first grade and living the life that I always dreamed of. So it's a blur because it's such a long time ago. But look, experience-wise, unbelievable.
And what was it like, being noticed by people, being recognised, appreciated? What was that like for you?
To be honest, it was actually, I never really took much notice of it.
Yeah.
We used to just, when we had our time off, we used to go down to Westfields and watch a movie or grab a bite to eat, and everyone just say, "Hey guys, good luck," and that was it. I was thinking, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Everyone just loved it. Everyone only massive Penrith supporters, love it. So we never really sort of got treated like guys. We sort of, we were sort of just a normal bloke that everyone loved their footy down there. And I think it was really good for myself and Runes, and it kept us grounded as well as players. And we had, like I said, we had really good leaders around us that didn't really let it get to our head. And no one sort of put us up on a pedestal. It was just like we were all sort of one big community. And I think that's why 2003 was so enjoyable.
Yeah, I was going to say, so 2017, so 2002, buzz, like scoring 17 tries is just crazy. 23 matches. 2003, you make the grand final.
Mate, well, this year, 2003, was probably obviously the most memorable year, especially at this point in my career. But, mate, played 2 years ago. We'd played SG Ball Grand Final, and then never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be playing first grade just yet. And here I am, 2003, a couple of great mates, a lot of local juniors in our side, and someone that I built up a really good relationship with, Luke Rooney, over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, where we're getting the opportunity to run out in the grand final for Penrith. And I'll never forget, I think I was about 8 years old, and I was at a friend's house. I got to watch the 91 grand final when they won it. And I was looking up the blokes like Royce Simmons and Mark Geyer, and now we got that opportunity to go out in grand final night and actually come away with the ring. All I could think about is probably about halfway through the season, I just never thought we'd ever lose. Like, there was a point that hit us. I thought, we'll just outscore whoever we're playing. And that was sort of how the season went. And then when I looked I'll never forget looking in the Big League magazine. There was the grand final ring. I said, that's why I just want the grand final ring. That's all I want is a grand final ring. And by the end of 2003, we had the grand final ring.
Far out. That's just like to go from SG Ball 2 years before, NRL grand final, winning the grand final.
And then getting the opportunity then at the end of the year, we got to go on a kangaroo tour with players that like Darren Lockyer. Like the guys that I'd always looked up to. I used to collect footy cards and had them on my, in my, what do you call it? Collection. I'm actually sitting in a business class plane flight over to England, and they're all sitting on there with these blokes I looked up to.
That's fucking crazy. Was 2003, was that the Scotty Sattler tackle? Or was that?
Yeah, Scotty Sattler on Burns down the sideline.
So was that your wing?
Yeah, it was my wing. You know what? It's funny, because I haven't actually watched the game over yet. I haven't never watched the 2003 or the 2016 grand final.
Why is that?
I think because the memories are still so clear. I don't want to ruin it with watching the game. I still remember having the memories. Yeah, that's true.
And you don't want the anxiety of like watching it again, kind of thing.
And I think too, because we still play, you don't really need to watch the game. You can still get that feeling. But now that I'm actually retired, I reckon I'll sit back and actually watch it and go, realise how lucky you were to be there that night. It's on your wing, that probably the most famous tackle of all time. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I remember Gerds come across, put a short kick in. I was chasing pretty hard and playing against my childhood hero, Brad Fittler. And
really?
Sort of, knocked the ball, stopped the ball with his foot, picked it up, and he's passed it to Burns. And I was thinking, just make this tackle. So I dive, tried to make the tackle, and I fell off him. He tripped him over a little bit. But in hindsight, I probably should have took a few more steps to make the tackle.
Being patient with it,
but then I sort of got up, and me and poor Fatuira is jogging back. I was thinking, far out, what have I done? And Sats has come out of nowhere and made this beautiful tackle. And from that point, I knew the game was ours. They were never going to beat us.
Wow.
Just the way that everything sort of fell into place. But it's a memory that I'll never forget. Just jogging up that sideline. And seeing Scott Sattler make that tackle, it was like, he just saved my ass. Because I think if we had lost the game, and I look back on hindsight, and if I had just took a few more steps, could have made the tackle. But I didn't. So he saved me ass.
Mate, so the feeling for you personally was A, relief, he saved your ass, but B, kind of like, they can't score on us. We would stop everything, like they can, but we will stop everything they throw at us.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. To be honest, I knew from that point, so if a middle forward who's played however many minutes at the moment, probably out on his feet, can run across field, make a tackle on the wing and take him out. I think anyone's just going to it's just going to do everything and beyond. So we made sure we got that win, and that's just how it felt all night.
And so, have you seen the tackle on replayed, like just a tackle?
Scott Sattler sends it to me every week.
You owe me for everything. You would have been dropped the next year.
And I'm not even G'ing up. Literally, I'll get a video of Sats at least once a year. So I've got 17 videos saved up somewhere in my cloud of the Apple. But,
that's hilarious. Hey mate, a tackle like that, you can send it for the rest of your life. And so
memories.
when you watch the tackle on TV, and then you compare it to the memory you have in like of what you saw. Is it similar, or what was a different feeling that you get from watching it?
Yeah, when I remember when he made the tackle, I was like so relieved. I was actually so excited. But when you watch it on the video that Sats has sent me about 10 million times, is it actually doesn't. You can't see any excitement on my face.
Yeah.
But I think I must just be like, oh wow, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But the feeling was like, how good's that? You know.
Yeah.
I just didn't like when you look at it. It's two different feelings. I knew what I was feeling, but then when you watch it, it's like, hang on, I've got no expression.
Yeah. It just
really
looks like
weird.
something, you know. But in your head, you were like, whoa,
Wow, yeah.
Oh wow! I mean, what a moment! Like that was, and the good. What I love about that moment is it's so much bigger than footy. Do you know what I mean? Like what he did.
Yeah.
It is a tackle. It is amazing, but it's so much more about just chasing to the death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the history of it as well. Like his dad was one of the greatest players for South Sydney, known for his jaw. Obviously, he breaking his jaw in the grand final and playing, and he wanted to go on the Kangaroo Tour, and he just had such an impact for South. And then to see what Sat's done, obviously, for the Penrith club, but then the impact of that tackle and what it had on the game, it just marries up perfectly to his father.
Okay, so the tackle happens. Is that like what's weird? I think is like we would assume that that's what you remember from the grand final, but is there something else that you remember from that grand final?
Oh, there's so many little moments that you remember. Obviously, the kickoff, mate, the very first kickoff.
Yeah.
The ball bounces and Tony Pelletur gets tackled 1 metre off the try line. They nearly get a repeat set off the kickoff.
Oh my God, worst start
And
ever.
then Gowie gets the perfect kick downfield and gets us back into a half decent field position.
Yep.
But then I can't go past Luke Rooney's first and second try and the way that Luke Pritters played. Just unbelievable. He saved his best game that he'd ever played to that night. And he just nailed everything. There was probably the last part, Luke Rooney's last try. I remember Gowie was calling it, and I think he was thinking field goal at the time in the position that he was set up in.
Yep.
And he's looked at him, and I think all the Roosters have noticed the same thing. So they've all sort of come, and he's just sort of thrown the big dummy, come out. And it was only Pritto, I think even our centre wasn't expecting it. Runes was sort of half expecting it, and he just throws his 15-metre cutout pass, lands on Runes' chest, pouring down rain, and scores in the corner, and we know the game's over. So, those three moments that Pritto come up with, the two tries for Luke Rooney, the break that he made first up, the one that he gave Runes for the second try, and obviously coming out of dummy half, showing and scoring next to the post. And obviously the tackle. There's so many different little moments, but those three moments that Pritto come up with, they're the standout for sure.
And what was it like? A childhood hero is across from you, Brad Fittler, and putting one over him, winning the grand final. Was that strange seeing you like in that moment? You're in a moment with what you consider probably the greatest ever kind of thing.
Yeah, it was different in the grand final purely because it was either him or us. But had the opportunity to play against him before that, got the opportunity to make the tackle and tackle against him or get tackled by him. It was. They were great moments, but then 2003, it was it was like okay, we got the opportunity now to represent a community that was so proud of Penrith and love their football. And I didn't. There was no other way that we'll come off that field unless we won. So look, I didn't really think about it too much, but the first person you go and shake hands with was Freddie. And then you obviously make your way around the team, but. He was just a good sport. He's, he said, I'll never forget, he said, congrats and enjoy it. He goes, because they're not easy to come by.
Oh, really? He said that after the game to you?
Yeah, so for him to say that and
after a grand final,
it's pretty amazing.
Your childhood hero is telling you enjoy a grand final win over him.
That's
crazy.
And that's for me, that's what, what sportsmanship's like.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's been on the show. I had never met him before, but I don't know. He just has this like aura of calmness about him.
And he's a clown too, loves to muck around. Nothing's ever too serious. That's what I love about him.
Yeah, definitely. And then you make the Kangaroos, you tour with the Kangaroos. Were you an emu or a kangaroo? Did you?
So I was an emu pretty much the whole trip, to be honest.
Wow.
Me and Jolie Clinton, we were emus for the whole trip. We played couple of games back then, which were warm-up games. They weren't classed as tests, whereas I think they are now classed as tests. But we played against England and France, but they classed them as warm-up games. But I still got the opportunity to throw that green and gold jersey on. I remember sitting in the change rooms, in France, don't remember the field, but pulling up my socks, and I was looking across, and there's like every bloke that I ever loved as a kid were all sitting in his change room, get ready to play a game of footy. So here I am running out with them, get to stand next to them with the Australian anthem, and amazing, absolutely amazing. But the trip as an emu was pretty awesome. I got to experience the way they prepared, watch them play on the weekends, understood what I needed to do when I got back, and how I was going to, I suppose, take what I'd learned out of the Kangaroo Tour back to and apply it to my game. But in saying that, Billy Johnson was our trainer, and he was flogging us. We used to do these bloody old groundhog days, and
far out.
Mate, I seriously couldn't walk. I was that fit when I left there. But in saying that, they used to give us a lot of leeway as well. So, we'd train Monday, Tuesday, get flogged.
Yep.
And have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. We had to be back before the Saturday night game.
Yep.
So we had 3 days in England where we could just basically jump on a plane and travel. So we were sort of going, we went Barcelona, Amsterdam, we'll go on all different joints.
Yep.
And just having a really good time and enjoying life.
How good's that?
As a football player, and getting paid at the same time to do it.
Oh my God, that is literally the dream. Like, you make Australia, you won a grand final, and you travel in Europe.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, good. And getting paid like good money. Back then we were getting like £1,000 for the week.
Oh my God.
And it was costing us £50 for a flight.
Far
so
out.
It was pretty cool.
Far out. So what did you, being a young player, you're already disciplined, but what did you take away from, what did you think you learnt, and who from, when you did, where it was in that Australian camp?
Oh, no, I learned a lot off a lot of them, but Shane Webke was, probably one of the most professional guys. Darren Lockyer, all those guys, Gerds, which I'd played with anyway at club footy, but just the way that they applied themselves, what needed to be done, leadership, just taking it to next level. Like, you do it back at club football, but what they do and how they apply and how they train and how hard they work, and how hard they actually, and the way that they enjoyed a win. It was something that I'd learned as well. Like, I was always, just got to do this, win, lose, draw, got to make sure I do this. Okay, I've got to prepare next week. But, enjoying wins was probably the most important part, and that's what I learnt off those guys as well.
Okay.
But the way that they come off the field and treat their injuries, but at the same time enjoying the camaraderie with his mate, that they just went through battle and they won and turned up for each other. That was a part that I learnt that I need to enjoy a lot more. Otherwise, why do you play the game?
Yeah. So, and I guess those bonds don't get created as strongly. You do bond over a big win. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Travel in Europe after winning a grand final. I mean, that is literally the dream.
No, it's funny. I got asked that question by Benny Eichen and Paul Kent. I said, "What was the favourite part of your footy career?" And obviously, your 2003 grand final, 2016 grand final, and your debuts in each jersey that you get to play in. But as a memory, 2003 Kangaroo Tour with players that I looked up to, and traveling the world and going around Europe and getting paid to do it. It was unbelievable.
And you just come off a grand final win.
Come off a grand final, it's like, how good is life right now?
Oh, mate, you can't get any, honestly, other than having a kid or something, you literally couldn't get better.
100%.
Okay, so 2004 rolls around. You go to play the Bradford Bulls. You play centre.
Yep.
Was that a natural progression moving into centre, or it just happened because of injury, or?
Yeah, I don't know how I got in there. I think Gerds might have been. I think Gerds actually retired 2003.
Yep.
And we didn't have a centre at the time. One of the centres got injured, so I ended up just filling in for centre that for the start of it. And I think I ended up staying in the centres then for a fair while.
Yep.
Until I can't remember who come back. Maybe Denny Galea come in and played, and I went back onto the wing. But I'll never forget that game in Bradford. We never got the opportunity to win a World Club Challenge, which is disappointing. But just so cold, mate. It was freezing.
Oh, mate, I can imagine.
We just got back to go. We just got back from the Kangaroo Tour.
Yep.
And then we sort of trained for a couple of weeks, and we're back on a flight back over to England again.
Yep.
And it was pretty cool, mate. But disappointing in the way we played, and Bradford just blew us off the park in every aspect of the game. But 2004 was still a great memory. I got the opportunity to
Origin?
Play Origin.
What was that like for you?
Yeah, well,
how did that come about? Actually, playing Origin?
Well, I don't know. It was funny, it was 2003. Gus Gould put a emerging players squad, so he had his squad of 30 and 3 emerging players to come in. I can't remember who they were at the time. I think it was myself, Kurt Gidley, I can't remember who else it was, but sort of get a bit of a taste for it. And then there's a lot of talk about, a lot of hype behind it during the year. I was thinking, look, they started talking about, my first game of Origin I'll ever go to might be my first game of playing.
Yep.
And I remember there's heaps of talking about it. I was thinking, don't read anything.
Yep.
Get away from, all the hype. Don't just worry about what's next,
Yeah.
And then I got the phone call that I was going to play in the Origin series. And my head was just off, to be honest.
That is such a big deal that the first time you play for New South Wales is in Origin.
Origin, yeah. And my first time I'd ever been to an Origin, I never forget, sitting at home, watching Origin.
Yep.
Probably one of the highlights that, stood out was when I remember Benny Elias playing the game, had blood all down his face,
Yep.
his head was wrapped, he kissed his mum at the end of the game, and that was Origin.
Yep.
And that was one picture that stood out.
Yep.
And here I am getting the opportunity to run out in the Sky Blue jersey. And
You're in it.
we're in it, we're playing, and there was one stage there, I think we scored a try and we got back, and you see Queensland was sitting behind the in goal
Yep.
in their little huddle, and we're standing back there waiting for them to walk back and do the kickoff, and I'm looking around and going, wow, I'm actually playing State of Origin.
Yep.
That's when it hit me. I thought,
that's
during
Queensland.
the week, you sort of go,
Yep.
but just during the week, you sort of just go with the flow. You turn up, you train, and you got
Yep.
your kit, and it's awesome.
Yep.
You're going through your bags, all your mates ringing up, I want a shirt, I want the shorts when it's
Yep.
finished, and
Yep.
you sort of just go with the flow, and you don't really, know what to expect.
Yeah, and the routine kind of just pushes you along.
Absolutely.
The routine
You wake
just
up in the
pushes you on.
morning, and you're
Yep.
doing your promos, and you're doing your weights, you're doing your
Yep.
training, and before you know it, the game's there. But that actual point in time when we ran back and you look down the field and Queensland was sort of walking back to kick off, is like, wow, I'm actually playing Origin.
I'm here. And was it Suncorp or was it?
That was ANZ.
ANZ.
Yeah.
So packed house ANZ.
Packed house. We ended up winning 9-8, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then we went to Queensland, lost, and then come back to Sydney for a decider, and then that's when I got the opportunity to play with Brad Fittler.
Oh, you got to play with him.
That was
Okay.
obviously a childhood hero.
Yep.
But to get to actually play in the same side as Freddie and spend a week with him at training,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Just like, how is this happening? You know what I mean? Like, cause
everything was happening so fast.
Yeah.
So it was
Did
crazy.
you just win that series, or you
We
lost?
did. We ended up winning this. We won the decider.
Yep.
Freddie had a blinder. That's when Gus brought him out of retirement from rep football and
Okay.
brought him back. I remember it was on the radio. I was talking about bringing him back, and I was thinking, wow, I hope I get picked for game 3 to play with him. But,
Thinking about playing with Freddie Fittler.
So then we got that opportunity. It was awesome.
Far out. So he came back just for game 3.
Yep, just for game 3, and we won.
Fucking
I
hell.
think there was a little bit of drama. I can't remember exactly, but I think there was a little bit of drama during the week as well. Of
the legality of it all or something? Or
Yeah, I can't remember. I think there might have been like a... Yeah, don't quote me. I can't even remember, so I can't go back.
yeah, don't quote me. Okay, so he comes back. What was that? Like, you were a part of that moment that Freddie Fittler came out of retirement and won series for him. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was unreal. And I remember obviously being a guy that I looked up to as a kid.
Yeah.
I thought I'm just going to watch everything he does and try and apply myself to what he does. So one thing I noticed, he was always first on the training park. He was always last to leave on the training park. And I remember sitting on the bus with him once, and he said to me, he goes, "Louis, it doesn't matter what you do. Your attitude's everything." He goes, "You could be real flat and real down, but as a leader, if you turn up and you're flat and you're down, everyone else feels it." So it didn't matter how he was feeling. Every time we got out in the park, he was just a buzz. He was always full of energy.
Wow.
Always working hard. Always talking. Always first to, I suppose, whatever drill we done. Always ran to everything.
Yeah.
And that was from day one. I'd learnt that trade off him straight away. So my thing behind it all was, I need to be out in the training park first, or when he walks out, I need to get out there with him.
Yeah.
Don't get off the field until he gets off the field. So make sure I was catching high balls, or whenever he'd finish, I'd walk off.
Yeah.
And then I always, you still get days where you're a little bit down or something goes with you flat, but every time you walk through the gate at training, always try and be up, always try to be upbeat, always try to have a joke.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I treated my whole career from that day on.
Man, it's amazing how that's something that I've noticed as I've gotten older. Is like, people aren't where they are by accident. Sometimes as younger you think, you don't realise that everyone that is in a great position is usually doing something great to get there, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And you look like Brad Fittler, like rocking up every day, being there first, leaving last.
Yeah, and then you hear stories too, like just from what I experienced seeing him, but you always hear stories talking about playing with Brad Fittler.
Yeah.
And he drove everything.
Yeah.
And it was just his attitude at training, and everyone just loved being around him because his attitude was spot on. And that's exactly what I picked up, his attitude. was infectious. You just wanted to be exactly like him, and that's why I think even when I just watched him and never having anything to do with him and just wanting to be like him was purely because I think
You could see
the way that his attitude was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, fuck, 2004, come out of retirement, win an Origin series. That's insane.
And I'll never forget, he actually charged the ball down, got a ricochet and scored under the post, and I can see him sort of big smile on his face, and he's got his hand up like that, you know. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, so you do make the Aussie squad, but you pull out because of shoulder reconstruction. Next year rolls around, 2005. This is 19 matches, 12 tries, and this is when the Tigers won it. So what was that year for you like? Did you...
Yeah, so the next 3 years, from 5, 6 and 7, was basically back to a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
I'd never had an injury. I never had surgery. Never had to do rehab. Never really understood what it took to come back from a major operation.
Yeah.
So I sort of had my shoulder reconstruction, done all the little things I had to do, but struggled with my shoulder. 2005, still played as many games as I could, but struggled with my shoulder. Had another surgery, I think, at the end of the year. 2006, very similar. It was sort of a bit of a real plateau patch for me. But I learned a lot about how to be, I suppose, resilient. At the same time, be professional. And, you know, rugby league's not at all about, you know, everything happening and going your way. When I first come into first grade, everything just went,
just clicked.
How good is this? We play 1 year, we score on tries, we're enjoying life. 2003 went in the grand final, 2004 1 game off, and then no injuries, just playing footy and doing what you love. And then the next 3 years is sort of okay. You go through a bit of heartache, bit of tough times. Still get to play a little bit of footy, but I learned a lot over that time, and that's when I realised that all the professionalism that I learnt early on in the Origin in Australia is where you had to put into effect. And you know, it was enjoyable, it was fun, but it was felt like some of the goals that I had set I didn't achieve. So I had to reevaluate, but I always kept those goals in mind that I'd still want to achieve them. So eventually they come back a little bit later down the track in my career.
And I guess those years sometimes separate long careers from, you know, 3 or 4, 5 year careers kind of thing. Those 3 years of grind, maybe a lot of people go left where you went right kind of thing. You know, continuing to grind.
I could probably agree with you on that. And I reckon too, you know, we missed out in the semi-finals a few times. You have to go through some heartache to understand how good the good times are. And that's probably what I learned a lot, is that first grade is an everyday drag. You have to put everything into it every day, get the best out of yourself every day so that you're ready to go on the weekends. And it's not just you as an individual. You need to be able to push the people around you as well. So that's when I really learned about you know, being in a team environment, you know, making sure, you know, if I'm feeling good, making sure we can try to get the best out of the bloke next to you, and vice versa, relationship building, everything. You know, when you get an injury, you're sort of put to the side. You know,
100%.
The team, you know, you're not part of the team because the team are out doing what they need to do to get right. But when you're injured, you're in rehab, doing the crappy weights, doing all the band work, which you don't feel like you're getting anything out of. It's
isolating.
It mentally sort of breaks you a bit. And because I'd never been there before, I didn't know, is this right? What's going on? Is this normal? And then as you get injuries later in your career, you realise, oh, hang on, this is normal. That's right. I've just got to do this, and this for the next, you know, however many weeks it takes or months it takes, and you'll get that opportunity to be back out in the group when it needs to come.
Mate, 100%. Like, I reckon so many careers of young fellas in that period, like they don't realise that you just got to keep grinding. Something will come. It'll come. It'll come.
100%.
Okay, so 2005, 6, 7 was kind of learning for you. In May, you almost joined the Rabbitohs. But apparently reneged on an unofficial deal. So walk us through that. What happened there?
So that was a funny year. I was playing. Matty Elliott was now a coach. I just got. This is sort of where my career changed a bit too. Like I broke my finger in a trial match. Matty Elliott's come on board as coach. I wasn't too sure how he was going to bring me back. Was he going to bring me back through reserve grade? Was I going to play first grade straight away? I'm not too sure. Put me on the bench. Played against the West Tigers. Adam Woolnough ended up doing his knee. and I ended up getting thrown into the middle, played lock for about 45 minutes, and I get to play as player.
Yep.
And I was thinking, wow, this is pretty cool. How fun's this? I'm getting in the middle. If the ball's not coming to you, you're getting into by defence.
Yep.
But if the ball's sort of going down the right edge, you can just nick off down the right edge and get
Yep.
some ball in your hand, and vice versa down the left, the same.
Yep.
So it just bring back the love of the game.
Yep.
So yeah, really enjoyed. Started to play a few different positions. Played lock, played back row, half, 5'8".
Yep.
And the message from Matty was just get out there and play footy. And if you feel like running, run. If you feel like kicking, kick.
Yep.
So just play football. And then that was it. I loved it. And then that year, I ended up making the State of Origin.
Yep.
And then I was off contract and I was in negotiations with South Sydney. And I was thinking, why did Penrith not offer me a contract?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a little bit of a mishap. Penrith had offered me a contract, but I never, because I was obviously only not really taking much note. I was leaving all up to my manager.
Oh, no way.
And my manager sort of was, just worry about Origin first.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, hang on, I'm only a tackle away from flipping burgers, basically.
Yeah.
You don't really know where you're going to be.
Yep.
I need to get my contract sorted. You're playing Origin. You want to get your head clear.
Yep.
And then Mick Leary ended up coming in to Origin and said, mate, I've had this contract sitting there for about 6 weeks. This is what we've offered you.
So your manager just didn't tell you?
He didn't tell me, but in saying that, I think I knew why, because he was trying to keep my head clear about, don't worry about the contract stuff at the moment, just worry about playing Origin. So it was sort of like one of those things, you want to get it sorted.
Yep.
He's trying to think the best thing for me is to keep your head clear, just worry about Origin. So the South deal we sort of agreed to, because I never seen the Penrith deal.
Yep.
But at the same time, my wife Sonia, her father was a bit sick.
Yep.
And I know I wasn't too far away. We were going to live in Maroubra. Sonia's parents were in Blacktown, but he really wasn't that well. And Sonia was very close to her dad, Nick.
Yeah.
So when it sort of all come to us, it's going to be. She would have had to travel back every day, probably in the traffic time.
Yep.
And, it would have been a tough.
It's a big commitment. You don't realise like city traffic.
I never had a contract offer from Penrith, so I was thinking I want to go to South. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And then agreed. Then Mick, this is all sort of in a nutshell.
Yep.
Come in, showed us the contract that had been there for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Always loved Penrith as a kid.
Yep.
And Shane Richardson was overseas at the time. We never got the contract sorted. I wanted to stick to what I'd said because I felt bad.
Yep.
But then on saying that, I still couldn't sign the South deal for another 4 weeks now. Footy's every game, like I said, every game you're only one tackle away.
Yeah,
started
definitely.
Getting my head going a bit funny because I'm a bit anal, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Also, like if you get injured, all of a sudden they're like, "No, we're not offering you that anymore. We're reducing it."
Yeah. So it was sort of like just a mixture of things that was sort of all weighed up. But then had a good chat to Richo on the phone. He was awesome. I built up a really good relationship with Richo from Penrith, obviously, and also had a chat to Russell Crowe because I had lunch with him that organised the deal.
Yeah.
And he was awesome, mate. He goes, look. He goes, would love you to have it at the club, but I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
And it sort of worked out perfectly. But, it felt like you'd let someone down.
Yeah.
So I sort of had to live with that for a little bit. But, look, at the end of the day, I think I made the right decision for myself and my family.
Yeah.
And Sonia got to spend a lot of time with her father in that sort of next 18 months and to 2 years, whatever it was. But worked out well for us all. And
it's funny how history. You read it here and it says like reneged on a deal, and it's like it's just like not the truth really. Like the reality is like there's so much more going on.
There was a lot of other varying factors, but at the end of the day, I did actually renege on a deal, so I can't take that back. But you live and learn.
Yeah, definitely. But like at least you went. You spoke to them, discussed it. It wasn't like you just like...
the best thing about it is the way that they were awesome, mate. They were so understanding, totally understood where I was coming from, where I understood where they were coming from, and there was no animosity or no hard feelings. It was awesome. So it worked out great for both parties.
Yeah, pretty much like the best it could work out, with all the things that didn't fall into place, it kind of...
It did. Yeah.
Okay, so 2017 matches, 5 tries. Then 2009 rolls around. 18th man for Australian side. You also named the squad for New South Wales. What was that year for you? Like, so you signed from 2008 to 2010 for the Panthers. So 2-year deal?
No, I done it. It was a 4-year deal.
A 4-year deal.
4-year
Okay.
deal.
All right,
Yeah,
so 4-year deal. Yeah. What was that like? 2009, 2010 period for you?
yeah, it was great. It was just sort of back to where I sort of started setting goals up again.
Yep.
Wanted to get back into the playing some football that I really enjoyed, where I knew I could get to. Had a really good bunch of people around me. Home life was just settled.
Yep.
Everything was excellent. Back into the mix of Australia and Origin. Then got to go on a kangaroo tour, I think, back at the end of 2009.
Yep.
And from there, my goals started to get ticked off that I'd set back in 2006, where I had a few injuries.
Yep.
So I sort of stayed pretty injury free after that for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then, that's basically it, to be honest. All I can really remember of it, because we didn't play. I think we played semi-finals. We didn't get close to a grand final. We played some good football. 2010, I really enjoyed my football season because, I ended up getting, I think it was
Lock of the year. Got lock
of the year.
Yep.
I got the Penrith Player of the Year.
Yep.
And I knew that I'd found my position and my football that I wanted to play.
Yep.
And how I wanted to sort of base it over the next however many years I had left in the game.
Yep.
That's where I wanted to base it off.
Yep. Okay.
And everything sort of fell into place from there, and I just kept working on my game from there, and I just enjoyed football.
Yep. And so for that period, like 2009 to basically 12, like you're playing, it's kind of like you started your career like that, and then there was those 3 or 4 years, and then you started really fulfilling that kind of potential that you, I guess, had built at the start of your career. That would have kind of felt like you were really, I guess, yeah, you're as you said, like ticking those boxes that you'd set those goals, because it's like, yeah, 2009 till 12, you'd pretty much made the Australian squad each year, pretty much.
Yep.
Origin squad each year.
Yeah, that was when I learned a lot that you can set goals, and my goals were for 2006, 2007, 2008, yep. But they never come. But I kept the same goals. I've always wrote my goals down. I always looked at them every day. But I just kept the same goals, but had to reevaluate how am I going to get there,
yep.
and how I had to learn. But then when I got back to that place of making me goals and ticking those boxes that I wanted to tick,
yep.
It was just a great feeling to be able to get to the end of the year and go, yep, that's one ticked. Okay, yep. What's next? How do I go about getting there again?
Yep.
What do I need to do? What do I need to change? So that it just sort of it brought back the mentality of turning up to training for a reason,
yep.
to tick off those next boxes. Whereas before, I was turning up and I was going, well, how do I do it? How am I going to get back there?
Yeah, okay.
And obviously, opportunities come. Sometimes you've got to wait for opportunities as well.
Yep.
So when that opportunity came, it was awesome. We get to play a great Australian side. We got to play Origin coming up against the greatest Queensland side to ever play the game. Mate. So there's a lot of great opportunities there, and a lot of learning that we had to do there. But at the same time, a lot of great wins and great memories that I'll never forget.
And so, to talk about being a part of the Origin side, and you played it quite a lot against that Queensland side. And what I try to explain to people is like, it's one thing having like the greatest fullback of all time, or like the greatest front row of all time. But when you've got a team of like fucking the greatest, Greg Inglis on his day he's definitely one of the greatest, if not the greatest. You'd put him up there with Steve Randolph easy.
Yeah.
Billy Slater, one of the greatest. Darren Lockyer, Jonathan. So you got all these. You got Webke, Petro.
This goes on.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's not just these greatest combinations ever.
Yeah.
What was it like for you guys each year going into that? Seeing that they had this spine, and then you guys are doing everything you can. Like your effort is just as high as theirs, but it's such a challenge. Like, what was it like going in each year to those?
It was actually quite exciting, to be honest with you. Knew that we'll come at the team that we're coming up against. We knew they were a great side. They'd won a few games in a few series in a row now. We're trying to put a stop to it. We wanted to get the trophy back in New South Wales. It was just a really good challenge in front of us, but we knew it wasn't going to come easy.
Yep.
And we knew we had to keep learning. And every game we lost against them, we'd always win one, but we couldn't win that two. It was a 3-game series, but we'd learned a lot out of that win. We also learned probably 10 more, a whole lot more, I suppose, out of the losses. But, when 2014 rolled around and Laurie Daly come on as coach, he'd obviously watched the game in a different situation. and took on what he thought was best for our team and the team that he thought could do it. And we got the opportunity, and we had done that. To have that feeling, knowing that we got to run out in Queensland and win it up there. Against the best team that probably go down in Origin history. It's a satisfying feeling knowing that over the years we went through some hard times to understand what they do and why they're so good. And to put a team together and have that mateship that we'd built up over a long time of, the tough losses that we had and how close we were to winning a series, to actually beat that team in 2014 and get that trophy back was awesome. And you'd never you wouldn't give it up. Like for me, I look back and I only won 2 Origin series, but those guys look back and say they won 10. But that Origin series that we won in 14 is just the best feeling in the world, and you can purely because we beat the best team that's ever played the game.
Oh mate, that Queensland side, fuck, it's like a lottery. It's honestly like a lottery that many players are from Queensland,
and at the same time, all playing their best football.
And then they just filtered them out. Like Lockie passes, retires. Cronk and Thurston come in. Like
Smith,
mate,
the best spine. Like 7, 9, 6, and 1,
mate.
And then had the best troops that were just around, and they were just workers that were willing to sort of work hard, but not worry about the accolades. Mate.
They just had it. It was crazy. I don't think it'll ever happen again, ever. I mean, maybe it will in 100 years' time, but fuck, I doubt it. Okay, 2012. So 2012, I think that's when Ivan Cleary came in as coach. And so, you're an established player there. I guess it just, I don't know, it didn't seem to work out. How did that all come about? Like you ended up going to the Sharks?
Yeah, it was it's a funny old situation. It's always hard to talk about. But saying that, look, I got given the captaincy. Then, I knew Ivan was coming over. I always thought the coach should probably pick the captain. But he sort of kept me on board as a captain. So that was pretty good. Played Origin, sort of relieved me of my Origin while we're playing Origin of the captain, the captaincy, but it was just a little bit sort of funny the way it happened, but it is what it is because I totally understand what he was trying to do to make sure that I was focusing on what I needed to do and the team was focused on what they needed to do. But in 2012, it was a bit of a, I suppose, a different way that Penrith had to go. Purely, I think the salary cap was very mixed up. There was 5 of us there at the time that probably we all had a few salary cap increases, which were probably going to stuff it up a little bit more. And at the end of the day, a couple of us had to leave to sort that out. I was captain at the time. I never wanted to leave the club, but the way that everything falls into place, things happen for a reason. At the time, they don't make any sense, mate. But down the track, they always do eventually. But
at the time, was it tough though? Were you like,
at the time, it was tough, mate. I just bought 3 acres out at Orchard Hills there, and I was just about to build my own dream home. Me and Sonia, we just got all our architectural plans done. It was really exciting, really exciting times. I think I still had 3 years left of my contract, or 2 years left of my contract. We played the West Tigers. I had a bit on my mind, but made a tackle actually, and my neck went all stiff, and I ended up playing.
Gonna ask about this.
Playing the game out. Went home and I was thinking, I can't move. And usually with rugby league, you know what it's like. You go and see the doctor. Doc says, "Oh mate, look, I'm not too concerned about it, but we might try and get you an X-ray or get you an MRI, whatever." But anyway, go get a CT scan because the only thing I could really get into. And I found a what do you call it? A lump on my thyroid. I was thinking, I didn't really think anything of it, but I had to go, mate, we found a lump on your thyroid. You're going to have to go get checked. It's a fair lump.
And so this doesn't have anything to do with the soreness, though. This was just
just my neck was just stiff. Okay. It was just weird. But they said, well, we better check it. Well, it might be a bit of a muscle damage or whatever. Anyway, so I ended up getting a biopsy, and then they said, "Oh, mate, the biopsy's says that you got cancer." I was thinking, yeah, good mate, you G me up. It's not happening. Not happening to me. But, anyway, so we went and seen. So
at this point, you're thinking, this is you've misread
I think
this.
They've misdiagnosed it or whatever, So I really sort of just whatever. But it happened so fast. I ended up going and see Dr. Anthony Clifford, and he said, "Yep, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going into the hospital on such and such date, which is 2 days later. We're going to cut it out. I'm pretty confident we can get on top of it, ASAP."
So it's a reality now to you then?
Now it's reality. It's thinking, okay, well, yep, all right. So then I had to ring mum, tell her. She started crying.
Yep.
Wife was there. She was upset, obviously, because of the word cancer. But literally, everything sort of happened like that.
Yep.
At the same time, sort of got in, got out. Me thyroid had been done. I'm in pretty good hands at the moment. Just waiting to get back about getting some radiation, which is just a tablet form radiation. You sit in a room for 5 days.
Yep.
Anyway, can't play the game, but I couldn't play footy now. So at the end of the season at Penrith, I didn't get to play. But me, I didn't want to tell anyone. I was a bit funny about it. I didn't want the media to know about it. I didn't want
cancer and
I didn't want the club to know about it. I didn't want the fans to know about it because I didn't want to, make it like a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
I just sort of wanted to get on with what's going on. At the same time, I just agreed to terms with the Sharks.
Yep.
So I felt, oh my God, I feel like a grub.
Yeah.
I've just signed. I had no idea, but now it looks like I've signed. I've just signed the contract purely because I had to make sure I was covered.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to make the phone call to Fleno, and he was great about it. He sort of said, mate, look, don't worry about the footy. Just worry about getting yourself right first. And then, it was sort of a bit of a funny, tough time, sitting in the crowd watching the boys play. You wanted to be out there. The club and myself probably weren't on the best of terms at the time. Without going into too much detail, and then I didn't want the fans to know what was going on.
Did this club know that
they had no idea? They didn't know it was cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there was 2 people in the club that knew, so
Yep.
they understood what was happening.
Okay.
I asked if they could just keep it quiet and don't let anyone know.
Yep.
But then there was people that were doing like the chairman said, he's only got a sore neck because we've been looking at too much real estate, this, that, and the other. And I was thinking, man, like, come on, like
that would have hurt you a bit. You've given so many years to the club.
Yeah, it was.
Why all of a sudden would you turn into that kind of guy?
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone's always going to form their own opinion, and
Yep.
that's just the way life is,
Yep.
But anyway, you get to the end of the season, and everything's sweet. So end up getting over the Sharks, and mate, the rest is history. Sort of that sort of little part at the time felt pretty tough.
Yep.
But it just sort of seemed
Cleared
to
up.
fly by, and next thing you know, I was
Sweet.
lining up in a black, white, and blue jersey, and my whole life's changed. I'm living in the Shire. I'm training at a different club.
Yep.
I got told that my peak fitness probably wouldn't get back to where it needed to be, but I did.
Yep.
Probably won't be able to play, the kind of footy that you want to play, but I got the opportunity to do that, and it was another challenge that sort of got thrown out there.
Yep.
And I think if people didn't say to me, oh, you won't be able to get back to your peak fitness or you won't be able to do this, I probably just went along with it and just sort of faded out, I suppose. But because they said, you won't,
Yep.
I was like, well, I sort of felt like, stuff you. I'm going to have a crack and see how it goes. And if
So
I can't,
doctor said that. Doctor said there's a
good chance that your fitness levels probably won't get back to where you need it to be or where you want it to be. And just wanted to, but they've got to give you the worst case scenario as well. 100%. So, but it was a good motivator for me.
Yep. And so, did the gravity of it ever hit you? Because it would have hit your family. They would have been like devastated. But did it ever hit you personally?
No, I didn't. It didn't hit me. I think because my philosophy behind it all was like, I think they've got it wrong.
Really?
I don't think it's me.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they've stuffed up the name or something.
Yep.
But anyway, it sort of just all happened really fast.
How'd you feel during it? Did you feel it like? Did it affect you negatively, physically, or not really? You just got to cut it out.
I was just going in and
Fucking
getting surgery like you usually do at the end of the year and get a quick clean out and then you start again. But that's what it felt like. And then 8 weeks later, I was after a good break. I went away on my first holiday for ages. We went to Hawaii and just chilled the hell out.
Yep.
Thinking, I've got to just go get the head right and clear it all right. And got back. I was into training. Started training over in Hawaii. Yep. And come back and I was in good shape and thought, okay, let's have a red hot crack and see where we go from there.
Wow. So, it's just like it's such a dramatic thing, and yet because you got through it, it's all good. But if you didn't, it would be like this. Fuck.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I suppose, it was thyroid cancer, and a lot of, people say, if you're going to get one, this is probably the best one to get.
Yep.
But they got it right at the right time. You know, the doctor even said, you know, if it was a couple of months down the track, I don't know where it could be. I don't even know what the outcome would have been. I really don't. I didn't get into that much detail. I didn't even ask what the outcome would be. I said, okay, yep, sweet. What have we got to do?
Yep.
And that was it. I never asked about anything else. I wouldn't even know.
Mate.
So if someone said to me, if you did have it and you didn't get to it, what would it have done?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you because I didn't even ask the question.
You know, we were talking about earlier, those small moments in your life that change drastically. That tackle, your poor technique, whatever reason you made that tackle poorly or however you got hurt. Just joking.
That's true, but
you know, you wouldn't have checked it.
No, that's it.
Fuck.
And if I didn't get a stiff neck that night, just from a crappy tackle, I actually think I got a knee in the neck.
Oh, really?
It ended up being a cork, muscle spasms or something.
Yeah. So how does obviously you wouldn't change anything, but how do you still look at Penrith fondly? Like, as in, obviously you do, but
yeah, I love Penrith, mate. The two jerseys that I'll never back against are Penrith and Sharks, mate. Okay. Always been a Penrith supporter. I loved every opportunity that I've ever had at Penrith as a young kid, and then the opportunities that I've had coming up through the grades and obviously what I got to do out there at Penrith as well. But then on the flip side of that, having the experience of actually changing to another club and revamping opportunities and having to prove yourself again to the players and building that respect to your new teammates, it was amazing. And then also to have the opportunity to play in Cronulla's first ever winning grand final. It's something that will, for me, I'll hold close to my heart to the day that I die. It's just surreal, to be honest.
The decision to come to the Sharks, you come to the Sharkies, but what was the thought process behind it?
It was funny, because we had a lot of offers from a lot of different clubs. It was very overwhelming, to be really honest with you. I'm a bit of a stress head. I always like sort of everything sort of ticked off and done. But I remember I sat down with a few clubs that I was really interested in. Obviously, the West Tigers was one because I had such a good relationship with Tim Sheens. And I know he knew rugby league, and he gave me some great opportunities with the Australian side. There was, Newcastle. There was heaps. There was a lot of opportunities. Then I had a meeting with the Sharks as they were nice and close, and I could get out there, and I thought I was go out and see, what they got to offer, and how it's all sort of going to.
So at this point, they're not really at the top of the list to go.
So no one was really at the top of the list. So I was sort of going, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to take my time, but I'm not in a rush. It is what it is. Let's just go with it. But got out the Sharks, sort of caught up with Wado, who's obviously just left Penrith. He's played a year over there now. Had a chat to him, went and had a coffee. We were just talking about it, went through the training facilities and all that sort of stuff that you sort of do. And then, sort of went to all different places, had a look around. And I remember I was sitting home one night. It's a funny story because I don't reckon too many people would believe me. But I woke up in the middle of the night and had a dream that I was going to win the grand final. At Cronulla. No. And I had a dream that I was in the black, white and blue jersey. No word of a lie.
So you haven't signed?
Haven't signed a contract. I woke up at 3 a.m. I roll over and I hit Sonia and say, Sonia, I've got to go to the Sharks. She goes, can't you just tell me in the bloody morning? I go, no, listen, I've got to go to the Sharks. I just had a dream. I'm going to win the grand final. I promise you, I just seen me in the black, white and blue jersey winning the grand final. And every time I think about it, I still get the goosebumps. Mate. It spins me out.
Mate, that is crazy.
She goes, yeah, whatever, just tell me in the morning. So I couldn't sleep. But I rang up my manager about 7 o'clock in the morning. First thing, so I grabbed me, rolled over, turned my phone. I said, mate, listen, get the deal done at Sharks.
Wow.
He goes, are you serious? He goes, just get the deal done. I've got a good feeling about it, and I think it's just going to be a really good experience. And I told him the story. He goes, mate, you're a G up.
Yeah, G'ing me up.
G'ing up, whatever. I said, mate, just get the deal done. Seriously, I'm not G'ing up. I want to come to Cronulla. Anyway, so that was it. Got the deal done, signed it. I obviously started looking for somewhere to move. Found a nice rental place, which we ended up meeting the people who, had the place over in Hawaii on a holiday.
Oh, really?
And
they got dream that.
That's it. Got it all sorted while we were over there. We stayed at the same place. And then 3 weeks into pre-season, we'd moved over.
Far out.
And then obviously, 2013 wasn't our best year, but it was a good year. We still made the semi-finals. We won our first game, lost our second. 2014 was probably a year that we weren't obviously at our best. That's when all the Asada stuff was
Yep.
happening. I don't know what had happened there. I don't really know
Yep.
the ins and outs of it. All I knew is that there was
Investigation.
investigation. We'll sort of we come in and we're going through it.
Yep.
Just in a different way to the boys that were involved in it.
Yep. How was it emotionally, as in, like, not the ins and outs, but it's such a delicate, strange situation to be in as a player, seeing your mates go through it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you see your mates go through it, and you don't really know
Anything
what
about
to do.
it.
You don't know how to approach them or ask them. They had each other there that we were talking about. You sort of, the club was they were doing interviews. One side of the guys that weren't involved would pretty much go to have coffees just by ourselves. And
Yep.
yeah, it was hard because you see your friends going through it, but you don't really know what to do or how to ask them. Or
There's no precedent.
because you don't want to get, they can't give you out too much information either. So you're sort of just, all right, stand back.
I'm here for you, but
yeah, but we don't know what to do. Just chill out, and that was sort of it. So we just sort of had to go with the flow and just sort of see where it went.
Because some of the boys have said, like, it got to the point that you didn't even know if you were training or like the coach.
Some days we would have training, but they had interviews, so we didn't have to get on the field. We ended up just the guys that were there. We ended up doing a bit of weights, cardio stuff, and we were out of there. It was just one of those years, but it was crazy. But that year also come back from a shoulder reconstruction, which I'd done. Ran into the fence over in Australia, so I sort of missed a few games that year. I think I only played.
Ran into the fence.
Yeah, and I dislocated my shoulder against Fiji. I ended up having to come back early and have a shoulder reconstruction. But like again, I say everything happens for a reason because we couldn't find a house to buy in Cronulla for ages.
Oh, really?
But then I come back, obviously a couple of weeks into the tour.
Yep.
Knowing that I had to get a shoulder reconstruction.
Yep.
And the house that we ended up buying ended up coming on the market.
Oh,
so it was just funny. It was just funny how things work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was sort of missed a few games that year. Didn't play consistently. Too much footy in 2014. I think on average, I played 8 that year. To be honest.
Oh, really? 8 games?
But we had so many injuries. At the end of the year, we had a few suspensions. The guys missed out 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
So we sort of had a lot of. The coach was gone for the remainder of that year.
Yep.
It was just a real sort of bit of a year to sort of forget about. But then 2015, mate, it was back. We knew what we wanted. We had all these young kids coming to the side in Val Holmes, Jack Bird, Ricky Latelli. They've been around for a while, but all starting to get a bit of experience.
Yep.
And they just love the game.
Yep.
Bring back that sort of. All those young kids and their enthusiasm, it really drove us older guys. Mickey Ennis come over.
Yep.
He was awesome for me. I've just built up a beautiful relationship with him and an understanding on the footy field of how he likes to play. And it suited my game as well.
Yep.
So 2015, we got all the way through to, I think, to the second semi. We had to play North Queensland up there and we got pumped.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, we're in 2016. But that game we'd burn on for ages where we lost to North Queensland.
Oh, just like burnt you.
It was just burning. I probably played my worst game I'd ever played. I'll never forget it. Fell off a few tackles and they scored tries. I was just, I couldn't wait for pre-season to come around so I could just rip and tear.
Really?
And just get back out in the field. That's how much it burnt me.
Far out.
And then 16 was my last year of my contract.
Yep.
And everything fell into place. We ended up winning 15 in a row. We drew our 16th game against the Gold Coast.
Oh, in that terrible weather?
Yeah, mate, it was, it was great. We went on, I think, 3.5, 4 months of football. We never lost a game.
Mate, the buzz around the place.
The buzz around the place was amazing.
Yep.
You got to the back end of the year, we'd lost, I think, 5 out of the last 6 games. I was thinking, you could tell that we were sort of waiting for something.
Yeah, okay.
We went to Melbourne, played Melbourne down there. If we had won, we finished, I think, second.
Yep.
They beat us. We finished third. We had to go down to, or finish fourth. I can't remember. We had to go down to Canberra and play Canberra.
Yep. And Canberra on a right run here, weren't they?
They were on a run.
Yep,
they were playing some good
game.
footy.
Yep.
We had a few injuries. Gowser pulled out with back spasms. Wade Graham got knocked out 3 minutes or 4 minutes into the first half.
Oh, yeah.
Young Kurt Capewell had only played 1 game. He come in and had a blinder. Matty Pryor just stepped up and led us from
Hasn't he come
start
out of
to
nowhere?
finish.
Yep.
And mate, that was the game when I knew this is the year we're going to win it. This is
Oh,
where
really?
the dream was going to come true. It was
This is
funny.
the first semi-final?
First semi-final down in Canberra, we won 14-12.
Yep.
It was probably one of the best wins I'd been involved with.
Yep.
And we ended up winning. Obviously, you got the week off, and then we come up against North Queensland at Sydney Football Stadium.
Ready to go.
And the game that stood out to me the most, and all I could remember was the way that we played
Yep.
that game in 2015.
Yeah.
And they just gave us a hiding, and I had a shocker.
Yep.
And I thought, no, it's not happening again tonight.
Yep.
But everyone was on. And
Yeah.
we were just, that night, we played the perfect game of footy. We were
Yep.
ruthless, we were aggressive, we executed.
Yep.
The boys all played well. Everyone ran hard with a real intent to sort of
to break the line, to
just break the
tackle.
line and,
Yep.
and hurt people while
Yep.
we're running, and then also intent to hurt and understand that we're there to play some footy tonight.
Yep.
And it was just that was it. That was the game. Those two games, I knew this is the year we're going to win it.
Yep.
And we obviously get to the grand final, enjoyed the week, but everywhere we went in Cronulla,
Oh, man.
mate, standing ovations. Don't buy. No one will buy. We weren't buying coffees. People were buying us coffees, and
Far out.
mate, it was just the whole place was painted.
Yep.
Cars were painted, houses, fence, gates, flags everywhere. It was just the whole week was amazing. And then we get on the bus grand final day, and we're driving in, and I'd felt so relaxed and so comfortable
Yep.
that I fell asleep on the bus and woke
Wow.
up at the game.
No way.
So.
Fucking hell, Jesus.
Yeah, it was just crazy, mate.
Yeah.
And this is when I sort of just had that understanding that everything was just falling into place. All our players were fit and healthy.
Yep.
And it was obviously going to take a lot to beat Melbourne because they were
Yep.
such a class act.
Yep.
And the players that they had on the field, and they gave it to us. Probably 3 or 4 weeks earlier. They beat
Yep.
us 22-6 or something like that.
And their spine is Cronk, Smith, Slater, Munster.
Munster.
Fuck.
Yeah, and then they
That
got
was a
their
good-
forward pack who were,
Yep.
were killing it.
Yep.
Will Chambers,
Yep.
who's I think is one of the best centres in the
I agree.
game.
I agree.
And they had they just had a great side.
Yep.
We created opportunities about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
But we just didn't finish it off.
Yep.
But it was just a different game going to that night.
Anything you remember? Like,
No, not really, to be honest. Obviously, I remember James Maloney making that break and then hit me, and I was 1 millimetre away from scoring a try. Would have been nice to get across the line, but 2 plays later, Benny Barber scores.
Yep.
Obviously, Fafita's try under the post.
yeah, amazing.
But just the defensive effort,
Yep.
the whole team.
Even to the last minute.
The last minute, mate.
Yeah,
Like,
last second.
yeah, well, if we don't make that tackle and the game's over, mate, I couldn't think of any other way. If you lost that game like that, I'd still be crying today.
Mate, Broncos.
Yeah, well, that's it, and that's what goes through your head. That game. So,
And you speak to those boys now, it still burns them.
Oh.
Burns them.
yeah, it's crazy, and that's why I feel sorry for
Yeah.
young Ben Hunt, because
Oh,
he
man.
drops the ball, but that's not his fault.
It's not
There was
79,
like 6-7
yeah.
tackles prior to that
Yeah.
that they had to made it, So
definitely.
that was a
And even after they drop the ball, they still can defend the set, get to... Anyway.
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
mate, that was the night my dream come true. I had my daughter with me.
Did you think about it? Like, were you thinking about the dream? Like,
I didn't until later that night when
Yeah.
I was sitting down on the lounge with a mate, and we did not move for about 8 hours, and we were just drinking. And I remember that story come up. And I was thinking, wow, like it actually did come true.
wow.
But I remember there was a photo of young Jonathan Thurston and his young daughter.
Yeah.
And all I ever wanted, so I always say set goals. That was the photo. I wanted that photo.
Oh, wow.
So I just had my daughter. She was 6 months old, and we're
Yep.
out in the field, and I got my wife and my daughter, and
Yep.
my daughter's holding the Clive Churchill medal, and she's looking at it, and then I said, "That's the exact photo that I wanted."
Yep.
It was just weird how
And you got that photo that you put
thought,
in...
your thought process.
So that was a goal,
into-
like, in your head.
in my head the whole time. I was like, I'd love that.
Yep.
To have my daughter out in the field and have a picture of me just sitting there after a grand final win, holding the medal.
The Clive
And-
Churchill.
It ended up happening. It was
Yeah.
just weird, mate, how
Yeah.
things. You tell the story, people go, "This guy must be full of shit."
Yeah, I know. But it's true. Like,
it's unbelievable,
yeah.
mate. It is true.
When they read your name out for Clive Churchill, were you just like...
I couldn't believe it. Still couldn't believe it. I'm a big believer, still to this day. Every time I look at the medal, if someone's asked to look at it,
Yep.
the thing it reminds me is the 17 players that were on that field that night.
Yep.
Because I said it on the night, so it could have went to anyone in that team. You think about some of the performances Mickey Ennis was outstanding. Played in middle, made 50 or 60 tackles and didn't miss a tackle.
Jack Bird played
with a dislocated elbow, killed it, made over 100 and something metres, never missed a tackle, never complained. Ricky Latelli, Val Holmes,
Fafita,
Benny Barber, Andrew Fafita, mate. The list, every player that was out there, whoever got it,
deserved it.
Yeah, because the way that they played and the way that they put their hand up for each other. So every time I look at it or someone asks me to look at it, the thing it reminds me of is the players that I played with that night. It was amazing.
Mate, what a memory! And so after the game, what was the speech like from Plano?
Do you know what? I don't really remember it, to be honest.
Everyone was just like
that was it. Everyone was just going nuts, and people were crying. But for me, it was the fans. To see the fans that the way that the look in their eye, people were crying. Still to this day, you don't get congratulations. Everyone says thank you.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people have been waiting 50 years for the opportunity to do it. Excuse me, but. To see their faces in the crowd and what it meant to them. To see some of the video footage that we were getting sent on our phone that night. From what was happening in Cronulla. It was just a great feeling. You just sort of wish you could be in every part of what was happening at that particular point in time. But it was something I'll never forget my whole life.
Did you consider hanging them up then?
No, because I've always been a big believer that if it's never no team's gone back to back for so long. Melbourne's had the opportunity to do it. I think, but I would always thought I'd love just to go one more year after we win it to see if you can get back there and win it back to back. But look, I never really thought about it. I felt good after 2016. 2017 felt amazing. And had a pretty decent year, obviously.
And co-captain as well that year.
No, I didn't. I wasn't co-captain. There was a few times there was a couple of guys out that I'd helped. I was in captain, but after I was captain,
for the nines and that.
The nines. That was a good experience. You know, but 17 was a good year. But
what about playing 300 games?
Well, you know what? I'd never in my wildest dreams I ever think I'd play more than after I played my first one. And then to play 50, 100, but then to get 300 was pretty...
334 all up, hey?
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. It's I sit down and go, where's it going?
That's just
just to have my name up there with some of the players that have played in the game and what they've done in the game. I always pinch myself.
Fuck, 300, that's just how's the body feeling?
Well, that's purely why I think I've retired. Mentally, I feel like I continue to play.
Just physically.
This year, I was playing a game on a Saturday, and I was waking up Saturday morning still sore from the week before.
Oh, wow.
So that's when I knew it was time, And then I got into the pool one day, and we had to do a fitness session. It was about 1,500 metres. And I was sort of halfway through, about 600, 700 metres in. I was thinking, I want to get out of here. I want to go and sit at a cafe and have a cup of coffee. And that was when I knew.
Really? So you're in a pool, you're just like, that's it.
That was it.
I'm done.
You know what? I can't do this anymore. I just wanted to quit there and then, but I've never had... I can't. I just can't do that. I can't just stop. If I start a session, I have to finish it.
Feel guilty.
That was the first time I actually felt like I could just get out of the pool and stop training right now. So,
wow. And that was just a nail in the coffin for you.
That was a nail in the coffin. That was when it was telling me. I sort of thought about it all pre-season 2018. And then sort of come into it, I tore my plantar fascia, missed the first 3 games of the year, thinking, my body's telling me something. But don't make any rash decisions. Get back, see how I'm feeling. Played a few games, tore my calf. Thinking, far out, this is not a good start to the season. And my goals are going to be hard to reach to where I want to do now. Played a few games, tore my calf, opposite calf.
Oh, my God.
And I was thinking, okay, the body's told me that it's probably time.
But still mentally, I want to do it,
Yeah. And then I got back, played, and then... announced that I was retiring. It was like my body knew, okay, he's announced it. I'll get you through the rest of the season. And then we'll go from there. I ended up tearing my calf the last game.
Okay.
But, it's all good.
So you look at guys like Gal then, you're like, how do you do it, mate? Just give me your secrets. 37 years old or whatever, 38.
I don't know how he's doing it, to be honest, but good on him. He loves it. He's been around for a while, so mate, hats off to him.
So I guess what's the next 12 months go perfectly for you? What are you doing?
Mate, hopefully sitting back, sipping on pina coladas on a super yacht would be nice. No, look, I got no idea, to be honest. This year's pretty much a write-off now. The season's all finished. I want to just enjoy the break. Keep fit, get through, I suppose, December, get to Christmas, enjoy Christmas with family.
Yep.
Then when January comes along, it's head down, bum up, mate, and really try and get into something that I'm passionate about. There's been a lot of opportunities out there at the moment. Do I know which path I want to go down at the moment? No.
Yep.
I don't want to make any rash decisions on, and just jump at every opportunity.
Yep.
So for me at the moment, it's just trying to sort of find my feet.
Yep.
Enjoy life a little bit.
Yep.
And hopefully take the right decision when it comes time to make a decision. And just put everything that I've learned in through rugby league into business. And hopefully my goal is to be more successful away from football than I ever was on the field. So, I think it's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of learning and a lot of, I suppose, ups and downs that you're going to go through, which is normal.
Yes.
But very excited.
Yep.
And I'm a big believer what rugby league teaches you. If you can apply what you've learned in rugby league, you can do anything in the corporate world as well.
Yep. If you could sum your career up in a sentence, what would it be?
I don't know. Probably like, how would I sum it up? Fun.
Yep.
Challenging. Rewarding. That's probably how I'd.
Fun, challenging, rewarding. Yeah.
That's probably how I'd sort of put it. It's been a great ride. Been very challenging at times.
Yep.
But at the same time, been so rewarding with opportunities that I've had, on the field, away from the field, friendships that I've had, and just opportunities outside of football that football world has opened up to me.
And last few questions. Best prank of all time that you've seen?
Best prank of all time? Far out. Oh, I love pranks too. But, oh, geez, you put me on the spot for this one. I can't really think of anything at the moment. Best prank.
That's all right. Best favourite rapper of all time?
Favourite rapper?
Yep.
I'm not a rap man, eh?
Or favourite artist of all
I'll say favourite rapper.
Yep.
I'd have to go Eminem. I just love him.
Yep.
Because I loved his movie.
Yep.
And then from there, I've sort of become a fan.
Yep.
What was the next one?
Favourite movie of all time?
Favourite movie has to be Shooter.
Shooter?
I love Shooter.
Wow. Marky Wahlberg?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Wow. I haven't heard that one before.
I thought it was a good movie, but there's so many. I'm a movie head,
Yeah,
I love Law Abiding Citizen was a great movie.
Oh, that's a great movie.
The Shawshank Redemption, can't go past that.
You cannot go
and
past
I'm hearing they're going to make a remake, which
don't do
it's
it.
going to be
don't do it.
hard to redo.
Oh, fuck.
But, mate, there's so many great movies I could sit down and watch over and over and over.
Yeah. Just watch the grand finals over and over now, bro.
Yeah,
Two grand finals.
I'm looking forward to actually sitting there and watching it.
Man. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate it, and good luck with all the ventures after footy.
It's been a pleasure, mate. So good luck with everything.
Thank you. Boom.